Hello and welcome to Friday's Granada Reports. Here's what's coming up. Labour claims it's a landslide win as they hold Chester in a by-election, and that a message has been sent to Rishi Sunak.
The people of Chester and the people of this country have had enough of the Tory failure.
Also tonight in Liverpool, an illuminating journey through the nativity story in the run-up to Christmas.
And it was a foggy start in places today. The weekend is here and the forecast is coming up later on.
First tonight, Labour says Rishi Sunak does not have a mandate to govern following the Tories' defeat in the Chester by-election. Samantha Dixon, a local councillor, won the seat with an 11,000 vote majority. Our political correspondent Leisha McNally was at the count.
Christmas came early for Labour here in Chester and brought in the deputy party leader with something to celebrate. Last night's by-election saw the party hold the city constituency, returning an MP to Parliament with an increased share of the vote.
That Samantha Kate Dixon has been duly elected as
the new MP, a former leader of the council here, who says she's ready to get to work for the people of Chester with one issue front and centre.
I've been told very clearly on the doorsteps that people are very worried about the cost of living crisis, and it really is their priority to have somebody in London advocating for them, and that's exactly what I'm planning to do.
This is the vote that was called after the former MP, Christian Matheson, resigned over allegations of serious sexual misconduct, allegations which he continues to deny. But that backdrop doesn't seem to have harmed the wider party's reputation here. They turned a majority of just under 50% to a majority of 61% and delivered the Conservative government their third by-election defeat in a row.
This was Rishi Sunak's first test as Prime Minister, and he's failed that test. It's very clear that he doesn't have the mandate to govern, and that people want a general election and they want change and they want a Labour government.
Taking home just 1 in 5 votes, the Conservative candidate does seem to have borne the brunt of her party's poor standing in the polls. But North West Tories are putting on a brave face.
You had 38% of the vote here, now 22. Why do you think people are turning away from the Tories?
I think this is a by-election, and it's very difficult to try and compare by-elections with general elections. They're different things altogether. I think we recognise that we've been through a very challenging period. We need to ensure we deliver on that manifesto that we were elected on in 2019.
For the people of Chester, this at least ends their 6 weeks of political exile. The city now has representation in Westminster once again. Samantha Dixon will head to Parliament on Monday.
And Leisha joins us live from Chester. Labour pretty happy then, Leisha, but can we draw any long-term conclusions?
Well, this will have been a demoralising day for the Conservatives, and it comes amid a difficult few weeks after a number of their high-profile MPs announced that they won't be standing again at the next general election, the member for Hazel Grove among them, and just today the former Chancellor and Health Secretary Sajid Javid. Because ultimately this was the first test at the ballot box of Sunak versus Starmer, and it delivered the Conservatives their worst result here in the city of Chester since 1832. The worry for many in the party in red wall seats will be what would happen if that were to be replicated in a general election. It could lead not just to a Labour majority, but potentially to a Conservative wipeout. One electoral forecaster predicts it would leave them with just 86 seats. But the lessons served by a by-election should always be taken with a pinch of salt, and the Conservatives would tell you a very big pinch of salt because people do behave a little differently. Plus, the turnout here was low, just over 41%, so there's a lot of voter behaviour that simply hasn't been accounted for. The issue is, what happened to the Conservative supporters? Did they simply not turn out, or were some won over by Labour? That is the big question, but we may need to wait till the general election to find the answer.
Leisha McNally in Chester, thank you. Now, we've heard so much in recent weeks about pressure on the NHS. Tonight, there's news of plans for tens of thousands of additional procedures and appointments a year in the North West. There'll be a new network of surgical hubs across the region with the aim of reducing the COVID-19 backlog. Tasha Kachiri has this report.
Richard and his wife love to ballroom dance, but for 20 years he's been quick-stepping on painful toes. Now he's had an operation that will make him pain-free.
It was like having a pit stop in Formula One. As I was going into theatre, I was surrounded by a bunch of angels, really. And I just went out like a light. And next thing I know, I'm lying on the bed, all done. Brilliant.
This is the Cheshire and Mersey Elective Surgical Centre, one of 13 new surgical hubs that will open across the region. By 2025, surgeons in the northwest will be able to do an additional 137,000 procedures a year.
The centre opened 2 weeks ago and we've already started operating in these theatres. Everybody has been really excited to use these facilities because they're state of the art, all the expertise is here, and the patients have had a really good experience.
The pandemic has put more strain on the NHS than ever before. An estimated 7 million people across the country are now waiting for hospital treatments. Procedures done here are simple and common. Most patients are in and out within a few hours.
The operations won't stop during winter, and in previous years that had always been a risk. This year we'll be able to deliver both unscheduled emergency care and the elective care that our patients need.
These theatres will offer patients quicker access to vital procedures, reducing waiting times. Now 2 more of these will be built, which will allow surgeons to see an extra 6,000 people every year. It's hoped that these new surgical hubs will take some of the strain off the NHS and help people to get the procedures they need to live a normal life. Tasha Kachiri, ITV News, Wirral.
More of the day's news, and people on the Isle of Man are being asked what they think of plans to make assisted dying legal. A private member's bill was introduced in May, so this is the next step to possibly bringing it in. Assisted dying gives a terminally ill person the right to die by asking for a prescription medicine which they can take themselves. Fewer than half of train services provided by 3 rail operators in northern England are arriving on time. Analysis of services between the 16th of October and the 12th of November showed just 33% of anti-West Coast services arrived within a minute of their scheduled time, while 45% for Transpennine and 48% for Northern arrived on time. All 3 operators have been hit by staffing problems, with many drivers refusing to volunteer to work on their rest days. Peter Kay returns to the stage tonight for his first live tour in 12 years. The Bolton comedian kicks off his 110-date tour over 3 years at Manchester's AO Arena, where he'll be for 2 nights before moving around the country. Sport now, and Manchester United's women's team will play in front of a record crowd at Old Trafford tomorrow. Their Super League game with Aston Villa will be only the 3rd time they've played at the Theatre of Dreams. And as David Chisnell reports, they're expecting their biggest attendance yet.
History will be made at the Theatre of Dreams tomorrow when Old Trafford hosts its biggest crowd for a domestic women's match. Ticket sales for Manchester United's league game with Aston Villa have already surpassed their previous best of 20,000 that watched them play Everton last season. And in their sights is Arsenal's record for the highest women's Super League crowd of 47,000.
100%, of course. You want to get the biggest crowd you can. When I was younger, playing at men's stadiums, it was never even thought about. So obviously nowadays, that especially young girls can think about playing at the likes of Old Trafford, even Wembley. I think it's such an exciting time, and I think for us, we sort of just need to embrace it. Obviously, at the moment, it doesn't come around too often, but obviously it'd be nice to be playing at the bigger stadiums on a regular basis.
A crowd of 69,000 watched as England kicked off their Women's Euros at Old Trafford in the summer, and as the sport continues to grow, bigger attendances are vital to attract more fans.
I'd love to consistently, in time, fill that stadium for our players to, you know, have like the men's team would, but we have a responsibility in that as well, as players, to keep putting performances in that people go, I need to go and watch that game.
2 lets fly. With lionesses like Ella Toone, Nikita Paris and Alessia Russo amongst their ranks, this season United are challenging to win their first ever WSL title. For Hannah Blundell, who won 4 league crowns with Chelsea, this group has got the togetherness to go all the way.
I think that's a massive part in winning championships. Everyone's on the same wavelength, everyone has got the same goal, and I think that's what we've got here. Everyone pushes each other on the training pitch, off the training pitch, and everyone really wants it for each other.
Well, United's women are playing at Old Trafford while the men's team are on their World Cup break. Despite the owners, the Glazer family, last week putting the club up for sale, the commitment to the women's team hasn't changed.
Right now we are business as usual. For us it's hugely important that we're part of that, but I don't think there's any question of that. That's a give me now that we are part of that club, and the investment for us to succeed is going to continue to grow into the future for sure.
United's women's team only formed 4 years ago. They've made great strides in that time, but much more still needs to be done, and this weekend will be another big step on their journey to the top. David Chisnell, ITV News, Manchester.
Yeah, good luck to them. Let's hope that record crowd sees the right results. Now, finally, it may only be the 2nd of December, but if you're looking for somewhere to kickstart your Christmas spirit, then look no further than Liverpool Cathedral. It is bringing some extra sparkle to the city's Christmas celebrations, with an immersive light and sound show taking visitors on a journey through the Nativity story. It's called The Light Before Christmas, The Angels Are Coming. And Anna Yusuf has been lucky enough to find out some more.
It really is magical. You can walk through the cathedral, maybe catch a glimpse of Father Christmas and his reindeers, and then be taken on a journey through the story of the Nativity. Well, joining me now is the show's artistic director, Peter Walker. Peter, this is some backdrop, isn't it?
It is. It's a remarkable canvas for us to work in as artists, and alongside my colleague David Harper and the Lux Moralis team, we say that we try to create the stained glass windows of our time. So telling stories about this place, but using contemporary artwork, contemporary equipment to tell that to modern audiences. And my team have been working now for the last 3 days to get everything ready. All the equipment is pretty much hidden. There's loads of equipment in here, but it's all pretty much hidden so that people have a magical experience when they come along. And when they do come along, we're not only taking them back to the start of the Christmas story, we're actually going to start with the modern sort of textures and colours and feeling of Christmas. As you say, we may even see Santa Claus appear, the presents falling, and then actually go on a journey through the cathedral back in time through the Nativity story.
What do you hope people take away from the experience?
Well, we try not to be prescriptive at all. This is fine art at the end of the day, and it's really for people to come and get from it what they can, but working alongside the fantastic team here at the cathedral. The whole idea is really to create a festive experience. There's something at the start of the Christmas for families and individuals and friends to come along, all come together, join together in community, come here to this remarkable building that's wonderful without the light, and kickstart that festive season with this remarkable experience.
Well, if you need any help getting into the festive spirit, there are still tickets available, and the show will be running every evening up until December the 9th.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Let's see what the weather has in store now with Joe with the forecast.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the weekend. Lots of dry, quiet weather ahead over the next few days. And it will be quite cloudy for northwest England and the Isle of Man, with mist and fog continuing to be a theme. That cold theme, though, well, temperatures are going to feel a few degrees lower than they are on paper, certainly tomorrow and again on Sunday. It's in fact average for the time of year, but if you factor in the wind chill, we've got an easterly airflow at the moment, probably only feeling like 2 or 3 degrees on Sunday afternoon, so you need to wrap up warm if you're heading out and about. And certainly tonight, dry, quiet, a bit of mistiness, a few fog patches and a touch of frost, with temperatures in rural spots just hovering above freezing tonight, and maybe some drizzle out of thicker cloud in the Pennines by the time we reach dawn. On to tomorrow, and the sun is up at 8:08, setting to our afternoon at 3:53. Saturday, quite a murky start to the day, with some drizzle again up in the Lake District and the Pennines through the course of the day. Lots of dry weather too, perhaps a little overcast, but into the afternoon, 1 or 2 bright spells getting out and some sunshine here and there. Don't forget though that 6 or 7 Celsius is going to feel a few degrees colder than that tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Joe, thanks for that. I'm back with our late news at 10 to 11. And on our website, how Yorkie the kitten survived a 250-mile journey from Southampton to Merseyside in the bonnet of a lorry. ITV.com/Granada. Now, thanks for watching.